Hey friends, long time no video. I know it has been a couple weeks since I have posted on here. So I wanted to hop on and give you a little bit of a life update because a lot has happened since my last video. And when I say a lot, I mean like sit down, grab a snack, hunker down because this is full of what was I thinking energy.
Yeah, what was I thinking?
So, first off, if you watch my last video, you will remember I've been in kind of a funk and kind of overwhelmed lately. And honestly, my grief is kind of getting the best of me right now. And I think it's a combination of things. First, it's the end of the school year and teaching eighth graders in May when they really don't want to be there. None of us want to be there. It's definitely challenging. We just had weeks of state testing, and now we're gearing up for finals and all that kind of last minute rush stuff. The kids are bouncing off the walls, and the teachers are, we're just going on sheer willpower at this point, and caffeine. Caffeine helps. So yes, I am exhausted. And it is the kind of exhausted that always happens this school year where it's like I get home from work, I think "Oh, I'm just going to rest my eyes for a couple minutes and I wake up drooling on my couch." But honestly, that is nothing new. This happens every year and I'm used to it at this point. Here is the big news. I bought a new house.
You did what?
And not just any house, a historic house at an auction, because apparently I've decided that mild chaos is my love language or something. And before you say, what about your tiny house? You love your tiny house. I do. I love my tiny house. Buying this house was not in the plans. It was one of those things where life just sort of smacked me in the face with a weird opportunity. And I was like, why the hell not?
I'm about to smack you in the face.
Of course, this opportunity is wrapped in crumbling support beams and cracking plaster, but hey, who am I to judge? And it all happened really quickly, actually. Like I said, I've been in a funk and I realized that with my grief, I do much better when I have something to focus on. And I was getting to the point where, like, my tiny house, I love my tiny house. I've got my routine set up here. I've got everything organized the way I want. And I was having a lot of nights where I didn't have much to do. And I am not good at that. And a lot of those quiet evenings for me turned into grief spirals. So I think a large part of this, if I'm being honest, is that I just needed to shake things up a bit. It's nothing unusual for me, really. People who know me know that I get itchy feet with houses. I love decorating. Like in my second life, I will be an interior decorator. And usually around like every 3 or 4 years or so, I the house that I'm in is exactly the way I want it. And then I get bored and I look for another house to decorate. And it always ends up pretty well for me because I always end up like making money on the houses. So it's kind of like a weird, unintentional flipping kind of thing that has worked out pretty well for me so far. We'll see about this one because this is by far the biggest project I have ever jumped into. And I seriously jumped into it. So the house, if you want to hear a little bit about it, if you don't, you can fast forward, but it is in a little river town that I absolutely love. And it has a historic district in it. And this house it's in that little historic area. So all the houses around it, when you walk down the street, it feels kind of like you step back in time. And I absolutely love that vibe. It is right, like I said, next to a river. It's right next to a rail trail where I can ride my bike and I can walk. But honestly, the best thing about it and one of the biggest parts of the decision is that it is only a 9-minute walk away from where my sons live right now. So that also had a huge part to play in it. I would love to be closer to them. And really, I miss hosting stuff. And for a while, I didn't like doing it. I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. It was weird for me because Libby wasn't here. Every family gathering we had felt awkward because she was missing. And it still feels that way, but I finally feel like I'm back in the place. I was getting the feeling like I was really missing being the mom, being the place where the kids would come for the holidays and, birthdays and dinners and just being able to hang out and have movie nights and whatever. I can't do that in the tiny house. I love my tiny house, but I can't have I can't have everyone over, the boys with their girlfriends, whatever, because there's just not enough room. And I really miss that. And I'm looking forward to that happening again. So that was a big impetus for me deciding to do this also. So yeah, there's craziness ensuing now because it was at an auction that I bought the house. So there's a lot more that goes into it. I had to pay the down payment, and now there is all kinds of hoops that I have to jump through in order to get the renovation loan that I need to fix it up. And so I'm going through all of that. And I am now also on a ridiculous time crunch to sell my tiny house. So that is on the market. So if anyone's on the market for a tiny house, this one's for sale. You can message me, leave me a comment. I'll send you information. I love this tiny house and I love the neighborhood that I live in. So yeah, if anyone's thinking about going tiny, for real, hit me up because I need to sell this thing and somebody is going to be very lucky to live here.
Think you'd like to live here?
But this new house, I feel, as weird as it sounds, like it was kind of waiting for me. I'm very open about the fact that I don't believe in signs. I wish that I did, but I never really have. But if I did believe in signs, this house is throwing them out all over the place.
Signs everywhere. Signs. All over, man.
First, it's, I'm a history nerd. I'm a huge history nerd. This house was built in 1870, and it still looks like it was built in 1870. And I did not want like a house flipper to get in there and knock out all of the character that made it look like a historic home, and paint the whole thing beige or gray and have it look the same as every other house. I want to restore it to the way that it looked like in the 1870s. And there were other things that happened. I've found out that the woman who lived in the house that passed away, which is why it was up for auction, used to be a writer. And then I found out that one of the original people who lived in the house was the school teacher in the town that I live in. So being that I'm a writer and a school teacher, I was kind of like, that's, well, that's fitting. If anything, it's fitting.
It's uncanny.
The first time I ever walked through the house to look at it before the auction, if you've watched any of my videos long enough, you know that on the anniversary of Libby's death, we paint rocks because Libby collected rocks and she loved finding painted rocks. And there was nothing in this house. Everything was totally out. No furniture, no nothing, no shelving. There is one little cupboard that was left in an upstairs bedroom, and it had a painted rock sitting on it. And I found this painted rock and was like, if I believed in signs, that would be kind of weird that this painted rock is there. And it was just little things like that were just kind of whispering to me, like, give it a shot, see what happens, take the chance. And I didn't think I was going to get it. I wasn't even sure I was going to go to the auction, but then I went to the auction. I had never been to an auction before. I had no idea what I was doing. And I ended up bidding against a couple people, and I had a set number in mind. And I told myself, I absolutely am not going to go over this number. And at the end, it was kind of going around to a couple different people. The bidding was going up by $1,000 each round by then. And it just so happened that it landed on me to bid that last number that I wasn't going to go over. So the bidding landed on that number, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to be out because somebody else is going to outbid me in the next, the next round. And no one else bid. Everybody else stopped bidding. And I'm looking around like, holy shit, like no one else is bidding on this house anymore. Like everybody else just pulled out after this number. And so he's like going once, going twice, sold. And I'm like, holy shit, I just bought a house. I could not believe that I won. It was crazy. So yes, it is a huge, huge project. And it is going to test my patience and my budget and almost absolutely my sanity. But you know what? I, I'm excited. I'm I'm nervous at the moment, making, wondering if everything's going to work out so that I can actually get in there and I don't lose my deposit in the next month. But if that happens and I'm able to finally get into the house, yeah, I'm excited. I needed a project. I needed something to focus on. And I needed to remind myself that even though I am still very, very deep in my grief, that I can still create and plan and look forward to something. So that's where I've been. I was already a clean, organized person and pretty minimal living in a tiny house. But getting a house like show ready is still a crap ton of work. So yeah, the past few weeks when I haven't made videos, I had to clean out as much as I could, organize as much as I could, declutter what I had left to declutter, and a lot of my recording equipment is part of that. I dragged it back out today out of my storage area because I've got a morning coffee podcast to do. But then it'll go back into storage until showings are done and hopefully someone buys this place. But in the next few months, between cleaning out closets and signing contracts, hopefully, and moving and pouring over historic paint colors on Pinterest, I will try to pop in every now and then and bring you guys along for the ride and do if you're interested, I'll do a house tour and hopefully some renovation updates so you guys can see what's going on. Because what is the fun in a total life overhaul if I can't bring you guys along with me? Thank you for sticking around even when I go quiet. Doesn't happen very often, but I know it has been lately, and it probably will be a little more quiet on here, at least until the end of summer. So it is not goodbye. It's not goodbye. It's a pause for now with periodic and unplanned hopping in to update you. I have a bazillion back videos about grief and all things grief related for you to go through if you need help. And also, as always, if you are struggling with your grief, my book, Grief Sucks, But Your Life Doesn't Have to, is available on Amazon or wherever you buy books. If there's anything specific you're looking for, you want me to talk about or share with you, please leave that in the comments. Like I said, I'm happy to still record things. I feel like I've made so many videos on so many different grief topics that I'm not sure what people want to hear anymore. So if there's something that I haven't talked about that you want to hear about, I'm still very, very happy to support you guys any way that I can, because I appreciate you all so very much. So yeah, here's to new adventures and messy renovations and trying to keep grief from swallowing us whole in whatever weird and crazy way that we can. I hope you'll stay tuned because this next chapter is going to get really interesting and probably very chaotic, but I love having you guys along with me. So as always, I am sending love and hugs. Take care.